going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, do I have some drama for you all. The other day, there were not leaks, ladies and gentlemen. We didn't get any playtest leaks. We got official information from the Battlefield team themselves about how the class system is going to work within the brand new Battlefield game. And holy smokes, the community has taken it in the worst possible way, and honestly, I can't blame them. It's almost like a switch has happened here, where everybody was extraordinarily hype, and now everybody is extraordinarily cautious and worried about the future of this game. But guys, before we go and dive deep, if you guys are interested in more content just like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern Time. Everything between COD, Battlefield, Splitgate, Ark Raiders, all of those games I'm going to be covering on this channel. And also, if you guys want to catch any of my live streams, I will be streaming Splitgate 2 today, since today is going to be the first day of the beta, which is going to be lasting all the way until the launch. So if you guys want to see what Splitgate 2 is all about, or you just want to catch some good vibes, you can find my stream over on Twitch. I got a link to that channel down in the description of this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as I stated before, EA DICE came out and put out a blog post over on Twitter, something very similar to the one that Splitgate posted the other day. And I'll be real, I really do enjoy this communication. They've been doing this bit by bit, piece by piece, for multiple different things, whether it's like gunplay, destruction, or even now the class system. They have been doing a very good job with deep diving into this information and kind of filling us in on certain aspects and, being open with the community, which is always appreciated. But during this one specific deep dive, it seems that they might have, let out a little too much information that is not good for the overall community. Now, as we already know, they are indeed bringing back the traditional class system, so we're going to be obviously having, things like assault, support, the recon, so on and so forth. But a lot of people were worried about the weapons and if they're going to be class dependent, or if, any weapon can be used for any class. And it has now been confirmed that indeed it's going to be just like 2042, where any weapon can be used on any class. Now, I'm going to hit you guys with a very unpopular opinion here. I really am. I might get some hate for this, but trust me, I'm not against you guys whatsoever, and I understand the bigger picture of Battlefield. But for me personally, I low-key didn't completely despise being able to use whatever weapon I want for whatever class that I'm using. For me in the past, every single time I play any Battlefield game, dating back to all the OG classics, I always picked my class based on the weapon. It's just as simple as it is. And same thing with all of my buddies too. The majority of people who wanted to use ARs and SMGs were either going to be the assault or the engineers, right? 9 times out of 10. And yeah, you'll have a few people trickling around on the support classes or recon. But it's very, again, weapon dependent. If you don't enjoy an LMG, if you hate them, you're never going to play support. If you absolutely despise sniper rifles, more than likely you're not going to go ahead and mess around with this. Now, we did have alternatives back in the day, like Battlefield 4, for example, where you can have the carbines, which will allow you to have a little versatility when it comes to your classes that you can make and how you can, play certain ways. And I enjoyed that, and I think that's what a lot of people are kind of pointing towards. But when it came to 2042, I'll be real, I think the biggest problem was just the fact that we didn't have classes. I don't think we really got a fair shake at being able to try having, whatever weapon you want per class, because it was absolutely destroyed with a horrible taste of having specialists. Same thing with 128 players. Personally, I think 128 players would be awesome. The problem is that the developers didn't know how to optimize it, and they gave us the worst maps in the whole franchise. So, 128 players felt like a disaster because the maps were absolutely garbage, and over half the people couldn't even run the game. But again, in a different circumstance, if they can actually work on this and the developers can grow and, technology enhances and improves, I could totally see 128 players coming back to Battlefield and actually functioning. But if that ever were to happen, I guarantee it'll be the same situation as we have right here, where they would announce something like that and the whole community would have a bad taste in their mouths from 2042 and say, no, 128 is bad. But I found myself playing with everything. All the classes, assault, medic, recon, all of them, support. I played every single role because I didn't feel held back by the weapon of, my choice there, which again can be countered by having carbine rifles. But I just wanted to share this opinion. Again, I know it's not popular whatsoever, but I kind of enjoyed that aspect of 2042. But again, let's be real here. If you are a Battlefield fan, if you have followed this franchise forever, that's not what you want whatsoever. And yeah, we could technically experiment with it, and obviously everybody in the playtest has been experimenting with it, and they have been, so far enjoying it. But from what I can tell from all the gameplay we've been seeing, a lot of the people who are playing this playtest, I don't even know if they played any Battlefield games before. Literally, every single bit of footage looks like the people, have never even touched an FPS game. So just because, it's so far so good when it comes to atmosphere and all this stuff doesn't mean that they technically are going to speak for the majority when it comes to having weapons, pretty much for all different classes. The feedback has actually gotten so bad to the point where, the Battlefield official page posted up another secondary video, showcasing one of the devs, talking about class balancing and why they're doing certain things, in certain ways. And they literally removed it within the hour. Now, they might have put it back up. I'm not sure. Maybe they did by the time of this video. Maybe there was something wrong with the video. When I viewed it, there was nothing wrong, and I was actually going to showcase it to you guys, but when I went back to try to get it, it was completely wiped off the page. So I can only assume that the community caught on to that post, and I can only imagine the responses under that one to make, DICE or EA actually take down the post altogether on the official Battlefield page. It's not looking good, and I don't think people are happy with this change, but I will say this, that's the point of these playtests. Is it not? We are voicing our opinions, and the fact that they even stripped that video from the page, to me personally, is a good sign because it shows that they see our opinions. They see what we are saying. And they removed, devs talking about why they think, what they did is good and why it should be this way. Completely stripped it. And again, I might be speaking too much here because I'm just guessing. But with that knowledge, it makes me think that they are acknowledging that maybe they did push in the wrong direction. People are not satisfied, and they have to go ahead and rearrange things. Now, I will state that I think the way these classes work is that the only way you get these perks that come with the classes is if you use the weapon specific for that class. So again, like, ARs for the assault class and, LMGs for support this time around and snipers for recon. The only way you can get the perks like faster strafing speeds or being able to, revive multiple people around you is if you match up the weapon. But again, I don't think people care. I think people just want a traditional feeling Battlefield game. And the point of the playtest is for everybody to voice their opinion. So please, go down the comment section. Let everybody know what you feel about, classes and how they should handle weapons working around them. Personally, I think they should just go back to the Battlefield 4 way. Because like I just stated, I do believe that having a bit more freedom with the classes is nice. It's very refreshing, and it encourages me to go ahead and play other classes. And fast forward up to current date, the only Battlefield game that really allowed me to do that was Battlefield 4 in 2042, where all the other Battlefield games, I kind of just stuck, like I said, to wherever the ARs and SMGs were. But because Battlefield 4 had the carbines as secondaries, it was very refreshing, and I could go and play something like Recon if I want to be a bit more aggressive, if I want to try to be a recon, but I don't want to sit in the back of the map and snipe, I could still put on something that could benefit myself and, I could still get kills and help my team. I think that is the way to go because I don't think there's assault because, again, there might be two other comments probably under this video agreeing with me that it's kind of nice to have all that variety with weaponry. But overall, I don't think I've talked to anybody who has agreed with that statement. I think everybody is against having that in this game, and they want to see it changed. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. For at least me personally, that this isn't going to kill the game. If they do decide to keep it the way it is, I am still very happy about the atmosphere of the game, the destruction. There's already so many different things that I have covered that I absolutely loved. And just because, weapons aren't stuck to a faction, it's rough, but I don't think it's going to kill the game for me. But it is going to be one of those quality of life things that, might frustrate a lot of people out there. Same thing with the server browser. I already saw tons of people say that they don't even, care about the game if it doesn't launch with the server browser. And there's people who think the same way about weapon classes. So again, please go down, voice your opinions. That's what this playtest is for, and maybe we'll see changes because the way EA DICE is kind of reacting to all of this news makes it seem like they might potentially switch things around if people keep voicing the way that they are. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Of course, if you guys enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. All the engagement means the world to me. You guys know I've been trying to branch out, do some more variety content on this channel, and speak about more different games, which the algorithm doesn't really care for. So again, everybody that shows some love on these videos, it means the world to me. Also, subscribe and hit that bell because we post everything between Call of Duty, Battlefield, Splitgate, Ark Raiders. I don't know, man. If it's any other games that might potentially drop later that I really want to dive deep into and cover long term, you'll see that on this channel as well. News, info, leaks, content drops, all of the above. You guys will be able to see it on this channel. And if you guys are interested in my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be actually hopping on Splitgate 2 today for the beta, so if you guys are interested, you can find a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.